You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Solana, the Herons are back. Welcome to another episode of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Chris Duran, and alongside me is none other than Daniel Solana. What is going on, my friend?
Bro, it is a lovely Thursday. Sorry about that. I just got done doing the Nacional game on another channel, doing the pregame. It was a 5-1 thrashing, just like Inter Miami's gonna do this weekend. Got big shout out to my mom. She's taking care of my son tonight, so I'm kind of free. Big shout out to my wife. She's in New York, so I'm all alone in the house, and I'm lit and ready to go, baby.
Let's go. Yeah, man. I mean, this is gonna be it's a good week so far, and it's gonna be a good weekend this weekend. As Hika Rismo is saying, Messi is ready for the playoffs. Mez is already predicting a hat trick from Messi. I mean, just straight out of the box, just with us haymakers. We have late as always. Yes, Mr. Krabs, we know you keep tabs, buddy. It's okay. All right. It's better late than never. How about that? Okay. And Circus Fun, Circus Fun mentions here, I might make it to the game this Saturday. Can you please tell me what section to buy tickets in so I can maybe meet you guys? Danny and I sit in section 124. So if you guys want to hang out with us, that's probably where you'll probably see us. For the most part, I get there a couple hours early, and I go to like the little fan zone, and it's a fun time. And you're asking if we tailgate. We don't typically tailgate. We just kind of walk around, grab some free stuff, and then head in. And but yeah,
don't burn yourself like that. Don't just put it out there. We go around and grab free stuff. We enjoy the environment, Chris. That's how you got to put it. Let's not be a couple of trying to get some free stuff here.
I enjoy the environment, but I got to be honest. I enjoy the environment when I get stuff like this. Not when I'm supposed to get them one a piece. How about I get one, then another, then another, and then another? Just don't tell anybody in the stadium, though. Okay. So let's keep that a secret, guys.
Wait, where do you put them? Or do you take them in the stadium with you?
I actually have a storage closet here full of free Inter Miami CF gear that is a 12 by 12. No, I'm just joking. I have some decent storage. Yeah, yeah, right. I sent a couple gift bags to people. I actually owe Stancy a gift bag, but enough of that. I feel like I'm just bantering on here, guys. We have a serious game this Saturday. Okay, a serious game. This is serious here. Serious Saturday. Okay, it's at serious 6:00. That's when it is. Okay. And it is going to be a mess on that day. There's so many teams that are competing for playoff spots. If you guys haven't watched the Battered MLS podcast, you guys got to check it out, okay, to get a good view of what's happening around the league. So check it out, Battered MLS fans. And it's a really cool channel. You get a lot of good stuff there. Now, I don't know if you saw, Solana, I did want to bring something up to you. I went over to, and this is just, I guess, gas bagging. Let me see if the picture is still saved here. Is this the picture? Hopefully it is, because if not, then I'm going to bring up some maybe inappropriate stuff here. Nope, that is my cologne collection. Yeah, so I don't have the picture here, but maybe I'll go ahead and look for it. But I went to an event from my kid's school where they were actually serving mate. And one of the things right here, so they were having mate with the bombillo and everything. Yeah, I actually did try it. Yeah.
And what do you think?
Yeah, it's a little dry. I mean, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a little dry. There's no sugar, right? I'm an American, so like I just want pounds of sugar in my drink. Oh, for good or for bad, and I mean, I appreciated it for its authenticity, but at the same time, I don't know. I could do without it. If I want that, I'll just go get Arizona iced tea. I mean, it's probably nowhere near the same, but that's kind of what it tasted like just tea without sugar.
It's delicious, bro. It's delicious. And not only that, it's the magic juice that keeps these guys flowing.
Well, let's talk about the flowing that we need on Saturday. We got a big game, 6 o'clock Saturday. It is against the dumpster fire New England Revolution. And as you guys know, we always have somebody to represent the perspective of the fans or of the team that can give you better insight. So we bring on none other than Greg Johnstone. I mean, that's probably one of the top 5 last names I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah.
From Revolution Recap. That is a strong last name, my friend.
Thank you. And I appreciate you not calling me Johnson or Johnston, which the majority of people in my life have called me that. So I appreciate you saying it correctly on the first try. We didn't even practice beforehand. A+ from you, Chris.
Yes, got it. I did good, right, Solana?
You did great. I think you did great. Usually you fail, but today the guest gives you an A+. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what your grade turns out to be in about 30 minutes.
Well, Ed Bigote says that last name is a statement. I mean, legitimately, I'm not even playing around with you. I really think that is a top 5 last name of all time. So let's get to serious stuff. All right, let's talk about football, soccer, whatever it is that you want to call it. We got a matchup this Saturday at 6 o'clock. Are the Revs fans looking forward to this game?
We are looking forward to Saturday because it marks the end of the 2024 season for the New England Revolution. I appreciate you calling this serious Saturday. Unfortunately, your opponent isn't very serious. The Revolution have it's been a miserable season from start to finish. It's been a miserable, really, year plus going back to the Bruce Arena resignation. Everything has kind of gone sideways. It seems like there's still a lot of inner turmoil, and the Revs have been out of the playoffs for a couple of weeks. I believe they were eliminated 2 weeks ago against DC United when they lost at home to DC United. And then they got absolutely shellacked in Columbus 4-0, including a goal from old friend DeJuan Jones, which was quite embarrassing. So no, I don't think anyone is really looking forward to the actual game, because I think the assumption is that Inter Miami will be claiming the single season points record, which we previously held from 3 years ago. But we are certainly looking forward to the season ending, so we no longer have to watch the product that the Revs have put out on the field this year.
Man, I was expecting like this super heavy Bostonian accent.
No, sorry.
And you let me down, Greg.
That.
You let me down.
Thank goodness, by the way.
Sorry.
Thank goodness.
Sorry.
Thank goodness. There's no... Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
No, just gonna say, hail from Maine. So you're getting the really no flavor or culture whatsoever. We're a very boring people.
Yeah, there's no packed cars anywhere. So
no.
We got lucky.
Yes.
We got lucky on that case. So speaking of the record, right? I mean, do you guys, as a fan base, obviously you guys have held this record since 2021. Do you guys, as a fan base, actually care about the record being broken by the team that's finishing you off? I mean, this is like the ultimate Mortal Kombat fatality, no?
Well, we care. I think someone ranked the levels of like awards, and one is MLS Cup, 2 is Champions Cup, 3 is Leagues Cup, and then down below is probably the League's points. It seems to be a point of pride for the Revs. With that being said, every single year it seems like LAFC or someone else is really challenging. And I think we topped the record from someone, I believe it might have been LAFC, it might have been, I forget who it was, Atlanta from 2019. So the record is going to be broken, and it seems like 3 years is kind of the shelf life. And I think the other thing too is, speaking out loud, Inter Miami has put together one of the greatest teams MLS has ever seen, right? I don't think there's any shame in Inter Miami taking this record.
Not at all.
With that being said, it's a tough pill to swallow to lose it, to be the team that plays them on Super Saturday / Decision Day. Although I like Super Saturday or Serious Saturday. Sorry.
Oh, I love Super Saturday.
Losing
Serious
it
Saturday, yes.
Being the team that could prevent it on Serious Saturday, and then also losing to that exact same team that denied you 3 points from 3 years ago. If they had won that game, and if they had beaten Brek Shea and Christian McCoon on their home turf, this wouldn't even be a question. So I think there's a little bit of embarrassment when this does happen. And I think just the fact too that the Revolution have really just completely fallen off from 2021. So I don't think it's so much the record itself, but I think there's a lot of context that this is going to sting for some Revs fans.
And I'll tell you that. I mean, I don't know if you have an additional question, Solana, but I know that if I was a Revs fan, I would care a little bit, right? I mean, it's something that you guys have, and it kind of sucks because, like you said, it seems like 3 years is the shelf life, and when we win, it's only going to be by a point.
Yeah.
Now, I imagine that if Inter Miami develops even better next year, then Inter Miami is going to have it next year as well, right? The issue that I'm trying to think of is I wonder if it's ever going to get to a point where it's like unobtainable, because surprisingly enough, like Solana predicted, everybody thought that we were going to fall off the wagon when Messi didn't play when he was out for Argentina, but we did surprisingly well throughout those series of games, Solana. So, I mean, I can't really anticipate that we're going to blow this record out of the water next year, right, Solana?
I mean, you got to take a look at the current record. I mean, Inter Miami's only lost 4 games all season. I mean, I don't know historically how many teams that have won the Supporters Shield, how many losses they've had. If that's the least amount of losses for a Supporters Shield, I don't know that, the facts or the statistics there. But I mean, it's been a fantastic season. And if you have a full team next year, a returning Suarez, maybe you get a nice backup for Suarez, and you make some upgrades on the defense. I mean, who's to say they can't turn some of those ties into wins and they can reach 80 points. I think that would be, somewhat realistic. Now, anywhere north of that, I think you're talking, maybe crazy talk. You're talking having to go undefeated, Man City type crazy season.
Yeah.
But is it attainable? I'm not sure, just because of the the rules that are in place in the MLS and how they want it to be, full of parity, which Danny loves, and I can't stand. Fuck you, Danny, by the way.
Yeah, no, fuck Danny. That guy sucks.
Well, it's interesting too, because I think you kind of hit on it, Chris, where, there were some injuries in the middle of your season and people kind of expect you to drop off the cliff. Same thing with the Revolution. Carlos Gil, who was the MVP in 2021, missed a month of the season. People kind of forget about that. Matt Turner and Tejan Buchanan were out for international duty. Adam Buxa had some international call-ups. So it's not just about developing a strong starting 11. I mean, you really need a really deep squad that fills in for star players. And 4 losses. The Revs had 5 in 2021. I think we had 22 wins. You guys are going to be at 22 wins, it looks like, assuming everything goes well for you guys. So I mean, that's tough, but I assume at some point it will get broken, but maybe we're going to see it a little bit longer. And I think MLS 2 is always kind of, we talk about parity. They're always changing the rules that, the owners that want to go out and spend money and build stronger and stronger teams and bring more and more talent to the league, they're going to be allowed to do that. So I think we will see a team that tops 22 wins, in the near future. So don't get too comfortable with that record. I see you guys already saying like, oh yeah, we'll top it next year. It's a hard record to do. But I imagine you guys won't hang on to it forever. It's a matter of time.
I got a couple comments I want to bring up here. Tommy one time here from Scarves and Spikes says New England is wicked bad. And then I want to mention a comment here because Mr. Krabs is asking, is Danny not here because the Yankees blew it tonight? Listen, it sucks that the Yankees blew it tonight, by the way. I mean, look, I kind of want to shame you a little bit here, Greg, but fortunately, the Boston Red Sox actually have a player that I've been watching a lot in the last year, Jaren Duran, which just so happens to be my last name. So like that's kind of the only reason that I haven't done it yet, because he is a phenomenal player.
Yeah, he's extremely exciting too. I mean, he seemed like he had some attitude problems and he wasn't going to work out, and something really clicked with him this year. And I mean, he's a phenomenal player. But I will say I wore this hat a few weeks ago on the MLS show. I was thinking, if the Yankees, I mean, they got down to the final out. If they got down to the final out, I was like, damn, I'm going to have to wear a different hat because I don't really want to have to deal with that tonight. But thankfully, the Guardians pulled it through. Are the Yankees still going to win the series? Sure. But for tonight, I'm going to rep the Red Sox hat because you guys can't really say anything tonight.
And listen, by the way,
what you guys are talking about.
we're talking about small ball, okay?
All I know is that what the hell is a Guardian, and why are they just not the Cleveland Indians? Like, seriously? Whatever.
I mean, do you not know why they're not the Cleveland Indians? If we keep talking about that, we might get canceled mid-show.
No,
right?
I know why. I know why. I'm just saying, Whatever. Let's not get into that. Let's get back into soccer talk.
Well, let me ask you a question. What name is worse, the Cleveland Guardians or Boss Nation FC? Which one do you like between the two of those?
Or how
Boss
about the
Nation.
Utah Hockey
Oh,
Club?
Utah Hockey Club. Yes. I don't know how you get a job as a marketing consultant for these sports franchises, but I mean, it seems like they're mailing it in, and I don't know. It's crazy to me the things people are coming up with.
Boss FC is absolutely awful, awful,
But
awful.
but let's not fault the other people that are sitting in the room and saying that's a great idea. Because there's one guy that lights the fuse,
We're
and
faulting
everybody
that guy.
just gasolines on it.
Yeah, we're blaming that guy, and he needs to be
but it's all the
or
guys.
girl or whatever. Whoever was on board with that name needs to be gasolined. I mean, guaranteed.
Yeah.
I think they even put out a statement after saying that they didn't include everybody in their name, or I don't know, something like that. I don't know.
Well, it was an interesting campaign. It was, and you know what? Well, it only can go up for that sports franchise. It's pretty impressive to, one day after your launch, you're already issuing an apology. It's really record time, really phenomenal stuff.
Hey, we felt that way one day. We felt like it was only one way to go, and that was up, and we finally got there. So we're a clear example that you could be at rock bottom and get to the top.
Yeah. Inspiration for us Revs fans.
Yes. Let's go ahead and move forward before we get stuck in this quicksand. So last year, the New England Revs were a pretty decent squad. You guys were sort of middle of the pack, a lot going for you guys, and now you guys are a dumpster fire. So why is that? What exactly happened during this year?
So I'll try to condense a year and a half of history as quick as possible, but Bruce Arena resigns. A lot is still not known about exactly what happened there.
Yes.
There's a lot there and a lot that hasn't come out publicly, but regardless of what happened, it's very clear this team was impacted by losing his presence. The team floundered towards the end of the year. They had to sell Georgi Petrovic right after to Chelsea. I say had to, I guess they didn't have to, but top 5 record MLS fee, the Revs aren't turning that down. So Petrovic leaves. They have a hole at goalkeeper. Brandon By tears his ACL. They have to basically move their Revs 2 coach up to take over as the interim coach, which was a really tough spot for him to be in. So Revs crash out. Revs go into the offseason, and Bruce Arena resigned, I think sometimes in September. The Revs don't name Caleb Porter as a head coach until January. They didn't have a GM until I believe it was announced right at the beginning of December when they announced roster decisions. So they went 2 or 3 months without a permanent GM. They went 4 or 5 months without a head coach. And coming into the season, they basically carried over their entire roster. They only brought in 2 or 3 people, and those people were Nick Lima, who is basically a backup right back, Jonathan Mensah, who is a backup center back, and they brought in a goalkeeper, Henrik Rabas, who was gone by May of this year. So the Revs brought in 3 players to strengthen the squad. They lost a lot of players, and pretty much everyone else kind of carried over. And it just kind of seemed like a continuation of last season. And Caleb Porter really never was able to there's still kind of a Bruce Arena stench here. The team looked very sluggish, and Caleb Porter came out saying, this roster, we need to change, we need to overturn it. And when you have someone coming out in the beginning of the season saying we need to overturn a lot of the roster, and you just brought back that pretty much the entire roster, it's not a good sign. So pretty much this year has been the narrative that the team has been trying to spin, and Caleb Porter has been trying to spin is, we need to bring in some new guys. We need a new striker. We need to bring in basically Caleb's team. And he's basically been using the term that you really need three transfer windows to judge a coach, which I think is a really nice way of him saying, I know I'm on the hot seat, and this is what I'm going to tell the public. But, at the beginning of the season, they were talking playoffs. At the beginning of the season, they were talking about how they love the roster, how Giacomo Vrioni, who is our designated player striker, how they're all believers in him. And as the season has gone on, it's been another year of him being a bit of a stinker. So it's 2.5 years with him being unable to replace Adam Buxa, who was sold for a $10 million transfer fee in the middle of 2022. So a lot's been happening there. No one's really improved. And it seems like there's a bit of a Bruce Arena stench. It's not clear if Caleb Porter has a locker room. There's infighting on the field. It seems like it's just been a year of turmoil and a real lack of leadership from on the field to off the field. Just everything's kind of gone wrong for them. So I think that this team going into the year, I think the front office was hoping, you know what? We're still the same team. We're still the same core. We still have a lot of the same coaches. We just don't have Bruce Arena, so we'll be fine. And come to find out, it was pretty clear early on that they did need to make changes, and they did need to really strengthen the squad in different ways. And just kind of rolling over the same team minus Bruce Arena really was just a recipe for disaster, since a lot of those players were brought in by Bruce Arena. And it's unclear if they want to play for Bruce Arena, but they certainly played better under Bruce Arena.
Now, but you guys did make a great signing in the transfer window, because you brought over the young Argentinian Langoni, who I think has all the makings to be a star in this league. And if you pair him up with Carles Gil, they could be a magnificent pairing. Now, unfortunately, if I'm not wrong, they haven't gotten a lot of time together, because from when Langoni came, and then Gil's been kind of hurt in and out, and I don't think he's playing this weekend. But I mean, you guys have to at least have some sort of positive outlook for next season, knowing that you have Langoni, Gil, and hopefully with a couple of additional signings, Caleb Porter could have the roster that he wants to make some damage, because Caleb Porter's not a bad coach. We've seen him, win a title in when he was in Portland, and he coached some great teams. So I think if he were to get his team, kind of what you're hinting at, maybe the team, I don't want to say that they didn't play up to their standards on purpose to kind of get him fired, but we've seen that happen before. Yeah. In other teams in other leagues. So, I mean, as a fan, you have to be at least somewhat positive, knowing that you have some good players on the roster.
Yeah. Yes and no. I think, the other thing too about Caleb Porter, won MLS Cup in year 2 with Portland, won MLS Cup in year 2 in Columbus. So a lot of people are saying, well, if we keep Caleb Porter, we better be getting year 2 Caleb Porter. Langoni certainly seems like an exciting player, but the results really haven't been there yet. We haven't seen, and again, everyone's playing bad. I mean, we're just in a situation where even if they're trying, and I don't mean to make it sound like they're sandbagging and they're not playing for Caleb Porter, but it certainly seems like there's a lot of frustration. I mean, either way, it's either that or best case scenario, there's a lot of frustration. They're just not clicking. They want to be done with the season. There's a lot of that. And as I say, when you have arguing on the field, if you're going into halftime and Carles Gil is screaming at Javier Arriaga, that's a bad sign. So no. And Dylan Barrero, who is a U22 winger who has all the potential in the world, he's had a lot. He got a second yellow earlier this season for screaming at a referee, which is really, and apparently it was a clear second yellow. He wasn't, it was across the line. So he's had some attitude issues too. So it just seems like this team's a little bit out of control. Langoni, though, anyway, sorry, I'm getting off base there. Langoni certainly has shown kind of some flashes of brilliance, but we're not seeing the goals. We're not seeing the assists. And again, maybe that's just being a part of the big package. But I think what the concern is that the Revs have 3 designated players locked in place between Langoni, Carles Gil, and Thomas Shankali, another Argentinian who showed a lot of promise at the end of last year, but really kind of struggled getting goals at the beginning of this year. And then for U22s, we have Barrero, who may not be coming back. He's got an option. But we got Langoni. Sorry, wait, no, we have Vrioni as a designated player. Langoni is U22. So there are a couple of U22 spots that we could use and get some investment. But I think a lot of people are skeptical of whether or not we're going to see some more major players added. I think the striker position is a real tough issue, and Vrioni is clearly just not going to be it. So we have Carles Gil, but it's kind of like, who's he sending the ball into in the box? Vrioni is just not it. And he's been here. Gil has been here 2-3 years, and his numbers are going down. He's on the wrong side of 30. So people are a little concerned that, maybe he's not able to do the things he used to do. Langoni, as I say, I'm excited about the signing. I'm not trying not to be too hard on him, but we haven't seen the results yet. So a lot of people are a little concerned, like, are we going to have more than this, or are we just going to have another recreation of this in 2025? So it'll be interesting. But I will say one more thing, Chris, sorry. We do have a defensive midfielder. I think he might be playing this weekend. Alhassan Youssef. He's been a phenomenal signing. We brought him in at the same time as Langoni, and the Revs have needed a lot of help in the central midfield position. So he's been brought in. He looks like a stud, and I believe he's going to be a TAM player. So he's going to be a player to watch for Inter Miami fans, because that might be a key player for the Revolution going into next season.
And Bigot is just asking really quickly. I imagine he's talking about Carles Gil. Is he out this Saturday?
Yes. Yeah. When they got knocked out of the playoffs, they said he had a calf injury. So Carles Gil is out for the season. He's not going to play.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's going to be oof. So
Yes.
I mean, you spoke about a couple positive things. Like, is there any hope for this coming season? I mean, and the one question I kind of want to ask, just to finish off and recap the last season, it's just insane how Bruce Arenas, like his presence in terms of like his impact to this team. I don't know if I've ever seen something like that where like a coach, because typically a lot of people, fans, pundits, they look at coaches and they're like, oh, well, it's not the coaches, it's the players, it's the system. But like you could see that the moment he's out, I mean, this thing just imploded.
Yep.
Like, so did he make, I mean, before you answer the question, is there any hope for next season? Did he really make that significant of an impact to this team?
Yeah, well, there's two ways to answer that. I mean, off the field, absolutely. You look at prior to Bruce Arena, Brad Friedel was our head coach, and he had no managerial experience. And before that, it was Jay Heaps, who had no managerial experience. And so our last two coaches, they were hired no managerial experience, but they had connections to the front office. Hiring Bruce Arena was so, oh my goodness, this is such a legitimate hiring. We actually did an episode in 2019 when Brad Friedel was fired of potential head coaches. We didn't include Bruce Arena because we didn't think Robert Kraft would meet his demands, basically. So it basically brought the Revolution to become more legitimate as a team. And if you look at attendance numbers for the Revs, this is a shocking stat. The Revs are 4th or 5th in attendance this year. I don't know how. Part of it's the Messi effect for sure, but soccer in New England has certainly grown. And I think Bruce Arena brought a lot of legitimacy to the New England Revolution, which was a team that was a bit stale, 5-6 years ago. Now, the past couple of years after 2021, 2022 came, and there were some weird signings. The Revs signed Josie Altidore to a 3-year max TAM contract. They had to buy him out halfway through. They signed Sebastian Lletget, who worked, but he didn't really fit the system. They signed Omar Gonzalez, which was not a great signing. Pretty much all the signings they brought in following 2021, they actually made a lot of investment, but all the players that they brought in kind of flopped. Outside of Georgia Petrovic, really none of the signings have been major, massive hits. I mean, the players that are still core players are guys that have been here for years. For the most part. So Bruce Arena, some people say, maybe Bruce Arena was kind of at the end of his run as kind of the savior of New England. But obviously they've taken Bruce Arena out. Look at what's happened. I mean, that can't be a coincidence. And I think there's also kind of a bit of ignorance from the Revolution organization that, well, Bruce Arena wasn't special. We can just have, Kurt Adolfo, who was his number 2, promote him from technical director, sporting director. We'll be fine. We'll bring in Caleb Porter, who's won 2 MLS Cups. This will be fine. And, it very clearly imploded really quickly. So it's been an interesting, it's been interesting, but Bruce Arena obviously had a lot of respect in that locker room, and he had a lot of guys that were looking to play for him. So, sorry, do you want me to answer? Is there any hope for next season? Is there hope for next season?
Absolutely.
Maybe. I mean, it depends on what the Revs do in the offseason. If the Revs go out and they get a couple of U22 players, if they find a way to improve the striker position, we don't know if Giacomo Vrioni is coming back, but he's got a contract for next year. You can't go into next season with Giacomo Vrioni as your starting striker. It's just been 2.5 years and the team's really struggled. The only real time that the team has been good with Giacomo Vrioni was at the beginning of last year. The Revs, everyone points to the Revs being in second place in the Eastern Conference when Bruce Arena was resigned. The Revs got a lot of great results at the beginning of 2023 because Bobby Wood was playing out of his mind. Giacomo Vrioni wasn't starting when they were winning games. Bobby Wood was, and Bobby Wood got hurt. So they need an upgrade at the striker position. And I think that's where it all starts for the Revolution. It seems like they're going to be rolling with Kurt Adolfo as GM and Caleb Porter as head coach. And I think a lot of people really do not trust those two, considering how painful this year has been. But
that makes sense.
There is some hope that, Carlos Hill will find his way to be the guy again. Hassan Youssef is a good signing. Langoni will come out and play. He's a record fee signing for the Revs. So there's a few good pieces here, but it needs to come together.
Well, and I have a question here because, and just, I mean, look, the chat is just going in here. They said that you speak like
the Slim Shady of podcasts. You guys are so nice. You compliment my last name. Oh my goodness, breathe in, breathe out. Oh, am I going too fast?
Yeah, look, listen, let me tell you something. And Mike V saying just drop him a beat. Mike V, when you come on here and beatbox for him, we'll do that. I mean, I can beatbox myself, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Okay, you got to pay for studio time for that, Mike V. One of the things I kind of wanted to, I mean, it's funny because Mike V, you want to make an album? You want to make an album with us, Mike V? Which, by the way, let me just.
What Marasovic said is hilarious too.
What Marasovic says. Definitely on. Oh, okay. Something stranger than mate. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess. Um, I have a bigger question here because I want to hurt Mike V where it hurts because you're talking about improving on the striker position. And look, the one thing that you brought up was you guys had some really good acquisitions for free agency, right? Like you guys haven't gotten no name guys. And Mike V, I'm going to hit you where it hurts. Campana at some point is probably going to be available, and it would be great for him to get to a team like New England. I mean, there's teams chomping at the bit to have a striker like Campana. So, I mean, maybe that could be part of your future, Greg.
We just need someone to score. Just not Giacomo Vrioni. I've seen so much Giacomo Vrioni. Well, what's crazy too is that Giacomo Vrioni, he'll score a great goal every now and then. I don't know if I think this is every fan base. It's kind of like I compare it to like the NFL with like quarterbacks when like a quarterback makes a really good throw, and like see this guy has it, and it's like he threw 3 interceptions. That's kind of how I am with Giacomo Vrioni, where every now and then he scores a brace. He scored like 2 hat tricks with the Revs. But it's like, yeah, but also he has like a 2-month span where he doesn't score and he has Carlos Hill passing him the ball. That's an issue. That's an issue. So
absolutely.
Anyone. Striker has to be, and the Revs have been rumored they've been tied to a lot of players internationally as a U22 signing, and it just hasn't gotten across the line. Caleb Porter has made comments that they're looking into strikers. So that's got to be an area that's addressed in the offseason.
Now, Solana, we're getting to my second favorite part of the show, which is the predictions. My favorite part of the show is after the predictions. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But let's talk about predictions. And typically we have the guest start off with the prediction. I mean, this is just going to be embarrassing. Chat, if you guys want to get involved, let us know what you think of the prediction is going to be for the score this Saturday at 6:00. Okay. And we'll start off with you, Greg. What's your prediction like for the game this Saturday?
Well, this is going to be an interesting one because I'm assuming Miami is going with a full squad. Even if they go with a limited squad, they should win. But the Revs, I think the stat that I looked up before the game, they've lost 14 games by multiple goals. They've had 8 games where they've conceded 4 goals or more. Miami, if they go full force, can absolutely blow the Revs out of the water, and they can get a very nice lead coming right out of the gate. So I'm going to go 4-0 Miami.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be somewhere in that ballpark. Now, Solana, I don't know if you're going to be as exaggerated as me or if you're going to be like the Danny version with the score. But I'm just going to go ahead and blow it out the water. I think that we're going to win 5-1. And look, right here we got Cop Gonzo saying 5-0. And then Mike V is saying 7-2 Campapi Hattie. So he thinks that Campana is going to have a hat trick. I don't know about that. And look, Stancy, you're asking me to give a real prediction. Did you just not, Stancy? This team is a complete disaster, and none of the Hills are playing. Like, I mean, I what do you want me to? Look, Stancy. Look, I know I exaggerate a lot of the times. Okay, but like this time, I'm serious. Take the score 5-0. Bet the house on it. I promise you.
If you are into gambling, I believe I saw a line just before I came on the show. Miami minus 2.5 is plus 200. Bet responsibly, but I'll be playing that.
Yeah. What about you, Solana? You're a betting man. You're a degenerate like myself and Greg. What's the prediction going to be for this Saturday?
I'm going to give you the New England score first. And I'm going to say 1 for New England.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Get the
Inter Miami 5. That's what I was going to say. 5-1. And I expect 2 goals from Messi, 2 goals from Suarez, and 1 from Matias Rojas.
This is Mike V. You're always on the money with nicknames and stuff. The Heels have eyes. I mean, this is golden. Like, if you don't put this on a shirt, Greg, will. Then Danny's gonna do it for sure. So I'll
get in touch with my merch guy.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Yes, get in touch with him. Print this immediately, because if you don't, Danny's gonna have it up on the shop tonight. Okay. So I mean, it seems like we're all on the same page. It's going to be a very high scoring game on Inter Miami's part. We are playing with a full squad. Somebody asked if we went over starting 11s. Tony Axe is asking, did we already cover starting 11? I mean, the last starting 11 that I had, and I'm just going to go ahead and move you over here, Greg, because I'm going to bring up the last starting 11. So here was the last starting 11. Now, obviously, we're probably going to see Luis Suarez. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Tata's going to go with the same starting lineup. He's going to start the backups. I don't
think so.
I
Chris,
don't think that's the case. It's the
said,
last home game.
Well, no, he's one of the things that he's been adamant about, at least over the last few times that he's spoken, is how Messi needs to get back into rhythm and how he needs to get full games back in. So I fully expect Inter Miami to put a full lineup out there.
So, like, how about go ahead, Greg?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I believe it's been 2 weeks since your last game, correct?
Yes.
I mean,
that's right.
Too much time between games. I mean, that certainly was the downfall to the 2021 Revs. They had, I think, a couple of weeks off before the Miami game, and then they had about 20 days because of an international break before the playoffs, and then they lose to NYCFC. So a lot of people point to that time off and saying the Revs came out rusty because they conceded early. So
yeah,
I'm sure Tata is seeing the same thing there, which is that you don't want 3 weeks without enough game time. So I would expect the starters to. I mean, again, you guys, the Inter Miami experts, but I'd expect them to get some significant game time here.
Well, and I want to go ahead and I want to go ahead and before I bring up the image that I was just looking at, Mikhail is saying, I come here to give my support to the Grossos of Solana and Chris. Abrazo grande. Thank you so much. Much appreciated for that, guys. And if you're still hanging out with us, all 101 of you, take that thumb. Click the little thumb like button. It's literally free 99. Okay. Literally costs you nothing. You've been scrolling up and down on Facebook and Instagram anyway. So just click the thumb. Like, what's it going to cost you? I promise you're not going to break your thumb. So here is the lineup that I'm thinking seems like it's a legitimate starting lineup for this weekend, where you have Gomez left wing, Messi right wing, Suarez at the striker position. You have Redondo, Gressel, and Bright. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is instead of Gressel, you have Redondo, right? Other than that, you got Alba, Busquets, and Aviles. Maybe not Busquets, maybe Busquets in the central mid, and then you have David Martinez, who's going to be starting. So, I mean, I'm not fancy. I'm not Danny with the little faces that he puts here. So I'm sorry, guys, but that's kind of what the lineup is looking like. I'm trying to see if I can be able to find a similar lineup. But
yeah, I don't think we need to get into lineup talk. I mean, I can definitely let the chat know and let Greg know that I just went ahead and put in my bet for the for what Greg just mentioned. So I went in and put it in. It's in there. I parlayed it with a Messi anytime. So let's see if it goes. And if you want to get in on it, don't say we didn't tell you. Don't say we didn't tell you on Saturday.
Yes, give us credit if it hits, but if it didn't hit, it was Inter Miami's fault.
All right. So before we let our guests go here, guys, and before we finish the show, I like to do my shenanigans. I don't know if you had been on with us before, Greg, where we ask our guests certain questions so that way we can kind of get to know you a little bit better. Have you ever been on the show with us on the Batter Herons to do the preview?
No, first time.
Okay, awesome, because I'm hitting you with every single one of them. So, no, you know what, Danny, it kind of gets upset when I hit people with the steak question. Now, Solana, the teacher's away. So should the kids play or should we be civilized here?
We should always play. Always.
Okay. So here I'm going to put some meat on my face. And here we go. We got 5 options of steak, and you got to pick one of the 5, and then you got 5 options of toast. We need to run through these. We're running through these quickly. Okay. Which one are you going with, Greg?
This is the hardest question I've ever been asked on a podcast. Oh my goodness.
By the way, understand that your last name, John Stone, is on the line here with a lot of these questions.
I'll go 2. But you know what? That's a personal preference. That's a personal preference. So whatever you choose, as long as it's not 5.
As long as, yes, that's actually a perfect question. Now, what are we doing with the bread and the toast?
You know what? Probably two. You know what? I am a very conservative
Two.
man when it comes to toast. I don't want anything burnt. I don't want anything too crispy. Really, three is kind of the sweet spot, but probably more of my toast comes out as two because I'd rather go a little undercooked than overcooked.
All right. So I have a problem with that.
Okay.
Because it seems like you just lay your bread on a candle for 4 or 5 seconds, and then you just bring it right off the candle, because that's what the number 2 is, right?
Yeah. Somewhere between 2 and 3. But yeah, I hear you. 3 is the sweet spot. 3
It's
is
like-
perfection. But if it comes out as 4, I'm chucking it and I got to start all over again. So if
Two
I'm
is-
going, I don't have time.
17 seconds in the toaster.
I don't have time. Yeah, and I don't have time until wait 17 seconds for toast twice. So I'm aiming for 3, but if it comes out as 2, I'm rolling with it.
I gotta be honest, toast, I'm going with a 4, maybe 5 borderline.
No, it's crazy.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I'm a crazy
No.
person.
Can't do it.
I love
do it.
that kind of toast. Oh,
So-
fry it.
So is one just bread? Is that what that is?
Essentially, 1 is bread. Yes.
Okay.
1 is just bread out of the packaging.
Gotcha.
All right, stick it to bread. Rapid
Has-
fire. Go ahead. You were
Well, I
going
was gonna say, has
something,
anyone
Greg?
chosen 1?
Nobody has ever chosen 1
Okay.
ever.
You're
Yeah,
gonna get
'cause
some
that's-
psychopath that's just like, yeah, I just go with straight bread in the morning.
Oh no! Wait till we get to we got a couple more here, and there's been people that have answered some silly. No, you know what? We actually had Italy Jet, who co-hosted the Miami Heat podcast with us. He says that I believe he picks the number 6 in toast.
No, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
he is a psychopath. So rapid fire, John Stone, last name on the line here. Okay. How are you cutting your sandwich if you're using the same bread, diagonal or vertically?
I'm going diagonal every time.
Oof.
Gotta go
man.
diagonal.
That's, listen,
Gotta go
I'm
diagonal.
That's
know
a
what it is?
winner's answer right there. Winner's
What-
answer.
You know what it is too? I'm a father. I have 2 young girls. They're not taking the bread on the right. They want diagonal. They want it in quarters. So I have to go diagonal every time. As a dad, that's just the way I've been trained and I've been programmed. If I give them that sandwich on the right, it's coming right back.
I'm going to tell you right now, I have 3 kids. I've been
Mhm.
cutting it north and south their whole life.
Uh,
Just recently, in the last year, I've asked them, how do you want it? And now it's pissing me off because they're all asking for triangle cuts.
Because that's what normal people ask for.
That's
Chris.
what you got to do. And by the way, I see the comment section. A hot dog is not a sandwich. I don't know if that's in your questions there, Chris,
Yes.
but I see that in the comments. That's a no. Absolutely not.
Well, and I guess we'll just go over it pretty quickly. And Solana, we're going rapid fire, so you just gotta like dive in here, like all willy-nilly, because if not, then we're just running.
I'm going. I've already
Okay.
done all these.
Yes. So the issue is that we had a Chicago podcaster on, and when I went to Chicago one time for work, I saw that at the airport they have a sign that says that ketchup is like banned. It's like drug paraphernalia if you have packets of ketchup over there. They laugh at you if you ask for ketchup in Chicago. And I think Chicago is an awful city when it comes to their hot dogs. A Chicago hot dog is probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my whole life. So, all right, let's keep it moving. So I go to the grocery store and I shop holding the shopping cart from the front. Danny, like a weirdo, holds it from the back. Maybe that's just me inserting my own biasness, but how do you hold the shopping cart? Are you a front puller or are you a pusher?
Yeah, I'm a pusher. I didn't know a pulling was an option.
Oh,
I go
no.
push all the time.
Listen,
I mean,
this
there's
is
a handle on the back.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. Yes, I get it, but this offers complete aerodynamics.
No, I
This-
think I'm gonna go with the way the cart is meant to be pushed. There's a handle on the back. When they have a handle in the front, I'll consider it. But I'm gonna go with the handle every time.
Yeah, the chat thinks I'm always a crazy person.
The
when it
last
comes to-
name wins again, Chris. The
know
last
that-
name wins again.
yeah. Chris, you know that A+ at the beginning of this episode that I gave you?
It's dying off.
a little bit. Yeah.
Listen,
yeah.
Tell you
I'm doing.
Listen,
Yay.
none of the cutting and stuff I understand. The toast I understand. The pulling the cart from the front. Now I'm wondering if you're just messing with me.
I'm doing my job so far, so that's good. I'm landing. I'm on the money. So you have to make a very crazy and immediate decision right now. But all right, when we're talking about boy bands at the prime, okay, you think this is serious stuff here. Remember, serious Saturday, 6:00. Okay, you have to make a choice. Boy bands. We're going on the left, NSYNC, or right, Backstreet Boys. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Who are you picking?
Listen, I was not a big listener to either of these bands, but I do know that I Want It That Way is a banger, so I will be going with the Backstreet Boys.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. I'm
That's
just getting dominated here.
My wife has that on a playlist. It's a decent song. I can say that now, but as a teenager, I would never admit that out loud on YouTube. But you know what? I've heard that song before, so I gotta give it to Backstreet Boys.
So far, Greg is batting 1,000.
Thank you. Can I keep my name?
Yes.
Mixed reviews from the comments section, by the way. I'm getting very self-conscious. I'm looking for immediate validation. I'm gonna hide them quietly.
Yeah, no, the chat. Let me tell you, the chat has been very good with you so far. I feel like they like you more than not like you, which is a good thing.
That is great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the Slim Shady of Revolution podcasters. That's something that no one can ever take away from me.
Yes, absolutely. So this was fun. Solana, do you have any other silly questions or anything like that? Because I can't find any more here. We haven't done that in a while.
I mean, all I wanted, I mean, it's been awesome. I honestly didn't know what to expect. First time I meet Greg, and we pop up on the screen. I see Greg Johnstone. I'm like, holy shit. And I see the Boston hat, and we didn't get to chat or anything before. And I expected this huge Boston accent. So thank goodness you didn't have the Bostonian accent. Yes. I'm so sorry that you're actually wearing the hat. But I'm not a Yankee fan either. I'm a Marlins fan. But
boy,
I had a great time.
Why are you sorry for me?
I don't know, man. But I had a great time. And honestly, I follow your stuff, so it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this was a blast. I gotta say that rapid fire question is probably the most nervous I've ever been on a podcast because I had no warning that was coming, and I will definitely be staring at my toast a little bit longer tomorrow and reconsidering this. I'm gonna be, when I go to sleep tonight, I'm just gonna be staring at the ceiling, thinking about my toast and just thinking about all this. So, but yeah, tomorrow breakfast, I'm gonna have a little bit more of a conscious decision. I may have to go up to 4 and see if Chris's way is the right way, although I have my doubts.
Listen, Dennis Lopez is saying, just when I thought Greg was my mortal enemy with the hot dog, not a sandwich take, he redeems himself. So you have earned a slot with Dennis Lopez. Okay. I have another question. I don't know if Danny asked this on the MLS podcast. I actually have 2, by the way.
Oh God.
Just very simple.
You're just coming up with questions till I get one wrong.
No.
That's what's happening here. You're waiting for me to slip.
Keanu Reeves, yes or no?
Yeah. John Wick. What's wrong with what's wrong with John Wick?
Yeah, Danny hates Keanu Reeves, which means he just hates humans. So that's why he's not on the show today. So
no issue with Keanu Reeves. There's a lot of celebrities I hate. Keanu Reeves, not one of them.
Now, there's one question that Danny likes to ask when people eat their cereal. When he eats his cereal and he finishes the cereal, he has the leftover milk.
Oh no.
Do you drink it or do you dump it?
No, I may take a spoonful, but I don't do the pouring it up and slurping. Absolutely not. No, not for me.
You got to get the bowl that has a straw in it. Come on, man.
Oh my God.
No, thank you. But I will say I usually don't have a lot of wasted milk. So if I'm dumping it, it's very little. But I understand what you're saying. No, I don't do the slurping.
Do you pour the milk first, or do you pour the cereal first?
You pour the cereal. Well, you pour the milk; it gets everywhere. No, you pour the milk; it gets everywhere, doesn't it?
I don't know. That was a big argument, I think, or a big
do you put the cereal first or the milk?
Yeah. There was a question about that, and there was a back and forth on, do you put the cereal or the milk first?
This is going to be another thing that tomorrow when I wake up, the next time I make myself a bowl of cereal, I'm going to be looking at the milk and I'm going to go with it first to see if that works. Because I've always just assumed you put the cereal first so the milk doesn't splash everywhere.
Absolutely. Don't be a psychopath.
I'm going to be doing crispier toast. I'm going to be pulling my cart from the front, and I'm going to be pouring my milk in first, just because these are things that I've never considered, because I thought that the world operated a certain way, and you guys have opened my eyes that there's different ways to do things. Because I never in a million years would I pour my milk first. Do not do it. Do not do it. Yeah, my assumption is it would splash everywhere, wouldn't it?
All you got to do is change your allegiance to Inter Miami. Change your allegiance to Inter Miami, and we got a new co-host. You know, we shipped Danny out to Orlando because he loves Orlando. We know that.
Orlando City.
And we got a new co-host, Greg. With that last name, we will go to the top, no doubt.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If I set through another season of this level of soccer, I might be demanding a trade. So gather up your podcast allocation money and strike a deal with an awful. I'll join you guys, and we'll talk cereal all day.
Never heard about that, but we got to get some Pam, Chris.
Pam,
podcast allocation money. We got to get Pam.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I almost demanded a trade from this podcast the moment I found out that Danny never watched The Matrix. So I completely understand.
He's a Keanu Reeves hater, by the way.
Yeah, he is super Keanu Reeves hater. This guy hates him with a passion.
You know what, though? There's always one movie that, like, everyone has that one movie that they should have seen by now in life, and they haven't seen it. So if The Matrix is his movie, that's kind of acceptable, because I've heard some really bad ones.
Yes, The Matrix is The Matrix.
Great thing. That's such a great question.
Yes.
What's one movie that you've never watched?
There's always one movie that people are a little embarrassed to say, like, I actually haven't seen it. I'll confess right now, the chat will turn on me probably. Never seen The Godfather. Everyone's seen it by now, right? Everyone's seen it by now. See?
Yeah, I just watched it the other night again for like the 500th time.
Yeah, but I'm not ashamed.
You should have never said that.
But it's true. It's true.
Great.
When I say that, people say, "How have you not seen The Godfather?" But I know that everyone in the comment section has that one movie too. See, everyone's going up. I know.
Well, you're cooked.
I know.
You're cooked.
No, but you know,
I'll join him. I'll join him. I'll confess.
Honesty is the best policy, and I'm just being open with you guys. I feel like I'm just saying.
I'll join you. I'll confess as well on the show, you know, but mine is not so much movies. It's more series. I've never watched The Sopranos.
Yep.
The Sopranos is I mean, I get it. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
All the people in the comments that are judging, they all have a movie they haven't seen. So, you know, don't throw stones in glass houses, guys. Don't throw stones in glass houses. You all have one you're embarrassed for. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, and Marasovic is saying it's good. So if you haven't watched The Sopranos, Solana, then I believe that you should get on it just because Marasovic says it. And Dennis was saying, no Godfather, them fighting words, Greg. So, Greg,
I lost Dennis. I had Dennis for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you should have never said anything. You lost the entire chat. L's in the chat big time.
We should have ended the show at 45.
Yeah, we should have, right? So let's go ahead and wrap it up before we start getting Greg banned from the show forever. Greg, thank you so much for being playful with us. Let everybody in the chat know where they can be able to find you guys.
Yeah, we're available on all podcast platforms at Revolution Recap. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter /X. We're also on Threads. Just search Revolution Recap. We're there. We're complaining about the Revs, and you can just bask in our misery on Serious Saturday as you laugh at our tweets.
Very serious.
Yes,
very serious. Solana, Serious Saturday, 6 o'clock. I'm gonna be there. Are you gonna try to be there, Solana, or you got plans?
I'm taking my son. I got that serious face on.
Yeah, it's a serious. It's 6 o'clock. Serious. I can't be serious. I'm a joke. I mean, I can't do it. I've had too much fun. Solana, last words.
Bro, love you guys. Love this podcast. Love the chat. Let's fucking go to the playoffs, baby.
Yeah. Let's get it. And right here, unfortunately, El Bigote is with a good comment here. Greg isn't going to understand it. I got a horse ready for him, Mike. Well, I imagine you probably do understand what he's saying here because maybe you've seen like the little clips and stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I mean, now they're just peppering you with commentary from the movie. Like it's it's a mess.
The real sad thing is changing your name is so much paperwork, and I now have to do it. The comment section is completely turned me. I don't deserve my last name anymore, so I will. I'll have to get on that, or I'll have to watch The Godfather before the next time I come on. So Rough ending, but I appreciated you guys having me on.
I would take the latter, Greg. I would take the latter definitely. Much appreciated. And guys, thank you guys so much for listening online. For those of you that were listening on audio, put down a comment and say, Danny, you suck, not Solana. Okay. And guys, for those of you that are listening live, thank you guys so much for chiming in the comments. You guys were a fucking blast. Put the like on, subscribe, tell your friends and your grandma that there's a podcast in Miami talking about Inter Miami, the Battered Herons podcast, and in New England too. Okay, don't forget that. All right, and again, press the like button. Don't be shameful. It literally costs you $0. Again, chat, you guys are the best fucking part of the show. We had a fucking blast today. It is a beautiful day, and the weather is beautiful here in Miami. Enjoy it. And Saturday, we're going to be doing a post game right after the game. So until the next one, my friends, have a good one.
See ya.